I am a Tory sympathiser.
No.
And it is time to sympathise with a Tory near you. See, this notion of unity cannot coexist alongside ideologies of two. Your evil twin won't sit beside you because she lives inside your head. She is not angry, she is apathy. They are inertia. They are a response. Who wouldn't be taking the same bus route as the raven if it's the only way home the crow showed them to be taking? Would the definition of power need changing if you could never have the chance for the means to obtain it? Who wouldn't be feeling caged if the people feeding them were feeling caged? Caged by the threats of them. Caged by a life undead. When you say woke, assume that I assume that you are struggling to get out of bed. Because if you believe for just 1 second that your living is dependent on somebody else's debt, you have missed the point entirely. But thank you for highlighting the widening between what's right and what stands correct. Because they might be clapping along with the joke, but they have got a shit on their face. And as the devil's dick swings by, they just happen to be in all the right spaces, waiting, gaping for the mess, unable to connect whilst breaking to the stress. No comprehension for lessons like balance or blessing or starting from fresh and de-escalating tensions. Imagine valuing your friends less than honourable mentions, or having feet too big to squeeze into others' shoes. They never feel a win after expecting to lose. They are so scared of the truth that they dominate the news, and we talk of them keeping us dumb, but the dumb ones keep voting in blue. Your mum might think you're having fun, but the universe does know you are a loser. So look at where you draw those lines in the sand. How many pounds sterling can your spine withstand? And did they give you a raise to ignore the screams of those being crushed at the bottom whilst you're airlifted to somewhere safe? And how much hush money do the kids need today with their special schools and special Daves, with special dads with legacies to maintain? With triple-barreled embroidered on towels, granddaddy was a great man, special names, and you already started with 4 hotels, so when I flip the board, don't blame me. Power of force will eventually hunt down injustices untamed. But that's just how it is. Some things never change, and us guys, we're just born into this. Now that would satisfy if you weren't knee-deep in denial and could admit you were groomed as a kid. It's obviously made you very, very sick. So regarding the handling of humanity, you are no longer equipped because your default answer is not to give. You see someone hungry and you tighten the lid. Your logic is so flawed, I have been using it as a sieve. How could the contents of my pockets influence the scale of my forgiveness? Because if we were at the cinema, I have no doubt you could point me to who the villain is. And it must be windy up there, strapped to your pedestals. So far from the ground, no closer to heaven. And if your dad had done it better, there might be people stood at the bottom wanting to catch you. Can you inbreed out compassion? What a shame. When you can say so confidently that we are not the same. What a tragedy that adults in suits have not yet learned to say sorry like they really mean it. If you can put on a tie, you can apologize. If you can change a life, you need to have some idea of what it means to live one, and I am sorry you got robbed of the right to develop. I'm sorry you never sit down in the shower thinking about how to clean this mess up. I'm sorry despite your healthcare benefits, you are still blind, paralysed, and the stench has really crept up. I'm sorry you can't hear your own tongues, can't be trusted. I'm sorry the North Sea isn't a moat big enough. I'm sorry you live in fear of little children, you inept fucks. I'm sorry your parents used cash to bind you to the walls you smash your head in time to songs produced by struggling writers because God will never find you. I'm sorry you see us as different creatures, and I'm sorry you keep getting lied to. I'm sorry that badness will always exist as long as great people choose to close their eyes to it. I'm sorry you are plighted by your addiction to traditions, and I'm sorry that you are so frightened. I'm sorry that you couldn't work out a plan B because you were too busy refusing enlightenment. I'm sorry that you haven't got a clue what you're doing as these tensions are indefinitely heightening. And I'm sorry you inherited this half-half life of gatekeeping this pointless divide. I'm sorry that our differences dissipate without the presence of harsh lines, and I'm sorry that renders it impossible to locate the source of these heinous crimes. I'm sorry that you lives in most of us, and I'm sorry that that's not inspiring. I'm sorry that they can't imagine solutions. I'm sorry they don't even know how to start trying. And they feed off us when we mismatch our talk to the actions we actually do. Every problem ignored, it never disappeared, it just got moved to a different room for the next one of us to walk through. And under carpet protrusions trips and loses their shoes to be found a week later, face down, black and bruised. I replace them with delusion, and I replace us with the truth. These elements are going to violently fuck each other for as long as we are part of the loop. No individual can live in a vacuum, and collectively we are unbelievably cruel, but you've got to see them living in us and a little bit of us in you. These symptoms are fiscal, but what's going to kill us are these terminal and chronic attitudes. It's why I can't wait till we're all dead. Because up to the surface will rise the proof.
Wow.
I'm sorry you can't address your own fragmented thoughts. I'm sorry you are disconnected from your homicides. I'm sorry you have been conditioned to sell your soul, and I'm sorry you think that's funny. I'm sorry you avoided the experience of consequence. I'm sorry you will never see the pains you force others through or even visualize a change because you were born into a place you will never need to move from. I'm sorry you can't do better because you can't possibly know better. I'm sorry you are spiritually stunted. And I'm sorry I am going to vilify you for as long as you remain a cunt head.